Alright, so first thing you're going to want to do is very carefully discard of this tape. You don't want to rip your paper. You want to be gentle and pull it at a 35-degree angle. Just slowly removing that piece of tape. Keep an even pull on it. If you go to do this and it starts to rip, change the angle that you pull it at. And that is going to prevent it ripping from the edge. Also at another 35-degree angle. If that doesn't work, go ahead and start removing it from the other side to prevent any more tearing in your paper. Now, we got our piece. We're gonna cut it out. And come with me and I'll show you. First of all, I almost always cut on the back of my sketch pad. Especially you kids at home are not going to be wanting digging into your mom's table or countertop. So really make sure that cardboard is behind you. Come over here. I have a plethora of X-Acto knives. Let's see. I'm gonna use the traditional guy. It's a little bit thicker, but it's not like so thick that it's gonna mess with your control. You pretty much want it to be the thickness of a pen, but I go a little bit thicker for grip. Every time I start a new piece, I'm changing out my X-Acto knife, blade. I keep fresh blades. And this one is actually a gold tip, so that's a really good blade, but it's been heavily used, so I'm gonna swap out to a traditional one. And a little trick that I learned at work in the graphics industry is that you're gonna want to discard of your old blade in a pop can. Gently crush it, okay? You don't want it to come back out on you. All right? And you're gonna discard of that right away. You don't want anybody getting cut on that. I actually never changed the tip on this one before. Try one of these. And that's part of the process. The main secret to having good work is always completing your piece, not getting discouraged, knowing when to change things up. The other thing I'm gonna mention is always keep the cap on your X-Acto knife. Cap comes off, it's on the paper right away. You take it off the paper, cap right back on immediately. Now, I don't have to do this because I've been doing this a long time, but just for the purposes of you guys at home who may be doing this your first time, have safety glasses. The last thing you want to do is have a fresh blade on there, be cutting your piece out, and go to scratch your face and poke yourself in the eye. So have safety glasses. Don't be swinging this thing around. Have it covered at all times. Discard of your blades properly. That's going to be key essential. Now, I was thinking about this. I actually told you guys to cut on the inside of the line. Now, I actually want to meet my tolerance right in the middle, especially for the image. So, if it does bleed out a little, the background's gonna cut that in, but I don't wanna leave a gap. So in this case, I'm gonna cut down the middle. Now, once again, you're not cutting perfectly straight lines. You're using an X-Acto knife that is capable of cutting completely straight lines. But to make it look organic, you're gonna want to keep your hand a little shaky while still staying down the middle of your piece. Don't push too hard, that's gonna make it rip. And hold it, once again, at a 35-degree angle. Now you'll see me just going like this, basically twisting it back and forward and rolling it in my fingertips as I cut it. Now, you can start just about anywhere, but I am gonna recommend you knock out some of the finer details first, because you're not gonna want to end on a little tiny detail and rip that detail off. If this comes loose, the weight of the paper will rip it. So start with these finer details. Know where you left off, because that's where you're gonna meet yourself. I'm not gonna go straight into the finer details. I'm gonna start in an easier place, but near that location, so that I could work my way into it. Now, if you cut a little on the inside or a little on the outside, I'm not going to want you to get hung up on that, because especially with something as organic as a caterpillar, each one looks so different that just by completing the piece, it's gonna look really good. Now, I have made little mistakes and I may have explained some things a little wrong or went back on what I said during this video. Keep in mind this is my first time recording and uploading, but I also really wanted to keep this video raw to show you guys everything involved, and I wanted you guys to really see the process, and that if you do get hung up on certain things, I want to show where I've worked through those hang-ups and really help you guys develop more as an artist. Because I've actually been doing this my whole life, and this is a completely self-taught skill. So I anticipate there being problems, working through them with you guys and showing you guys whatever problems you may have at home, how you can work through them. So if you appreciate this content, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. If you have any questions, put those in the comments and email me directly, and I'll be more than happy to help you through it. Knock this little blue tape spot out of the way, because that happens to be the most annoying place. And yeah, could I have just got bigger paper like I recommended to some of you guys at home? Sure, but this is cost efficient for me, and that's why it's really gonna help for you guys to like and subscribe so that I can get more content, better supplies, and a better environment so I can continue to help you guys. So as you work your way around the piece, make sure you're spinning the piece. You really want to move the paper in a way that's going to work best for your cutting instead of try to orientate your body and the knife to the paper. This speed in which I'm working at, I would actually consider a fast speed. So if you think you're just gonna power through this super quickly, you might, but you're not going to want to miss any details or make a mistake. So I just recommend that you work at a pace that's nice for you. Sometimes you'll see me when I think I hit my line, I'll make sure and I'll go ahead and lift up the piece to make sure it did cut all the way through. Again, we're really going to be trying to get our squiggle on to try to keep it a nice, raw, organic looking piece. Getting all those nice little fine lumps and details in there. Always try to anticipate your stopping point before you orientate the piece. Okay. Now the next thing, super important. If you lift up your piece and it doesn't totally fall out, that means you missed a spot. So you're gonna wanna very gently lift it up and find those places. You can either pop them out by hand, like this little corner here, or sometimes you gotta go in and actually cut it a little bit. Sometimes it's not that you didn't cut it all the way, but these counter angles are actually pulling the piece and holding it in. So you may have cut it and it's just not falling out. But if you took your time, then any little tiny dots that it didn't cut should just pop right out. And it might leave a nice little extra detail that works for you. So now we got our caterpillar shape. We got our stencil cut out. And the next thing that I'll show you is the placement on the canvas, how I do that and how I cut it out to make it fit. So when I tape it down, it sits on the canvas while having the tape touch the canvas the least amount possible.